3, 2, 1.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nazrul Afiq bin Muhammad Asri, ID number VA19021. In this video, me and my team will explain about the plant commissioning and shutdown of our company. First of all, I will explain about the introduction of our project. Basically, EGF Engineering is an independent engineering and services company which provides a range of services from engineering to construction support services, plant turnaround and maintenance services. The company was also specialized in providing maintenance services of rotating equipment for the process and power plants. Our objective is to replace the existing blower and its accessories, perform sizing for new blower, perform engineering activities, perform procurement process for blower and its accessories, installation, commissioning and perform site acceptance tests at PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene. And indeed, EGF Engineering was responsible to execute all phases of works involved throughout the duration of the project. In particular, EGF Engineering will provide strategies and plans to assure the technical performance, safety and operability meet the requirements, as well as the blower unit to be supplied meet the design data required by the PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene. The blower is a device whose main function is to supply a huge flow of air to the various processes in the industry, commonly in the manufacturing industry. At PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene, the blower will be act as convey medium for transferring products and mainly used for blowing and channeling air through the pipeline that is required during the processing of the chemical products such as olefin, glycols and derivatives, polymers, methanol, ammonia and fertilizers, and aromatics and MTBE products.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Zairi bin Mazam, VA19018. Today I want to present about the project organization for Shutdown. This project organization is to identify the functional organization and assigns the responsibility to assure the effective quality control. Okay, first of all, this is the organization chart of the project team for the shutdown. On the top row of the organization chart, we have the project manager. Then we'll follow up by the project engineer. Then we divide into the 5 planning schedule. Start from the procurement, installation, engineering, fabrication, and lastly for the commissioning. For the procurement process, basically we have the material coordination and procurement. Then for the installation process, we have the supervisor for in charge. And lastly, for the engineering process, we have the engineering lead and also engineering designs. Okay, next for the job scope or job description for each committee. First start from the project manager. The job of the project manager is to ensure the service provided by the PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene, PCEPE, maintained in the high level of consistency and continuous basics. Next is ensuring the PCEPE qualities policy and objective are effective implemented. And then next is manage the operational activities to achieve the objective of the PCEPE. Next is review and provide adequate resources such as the financial, human resource, equipment to carry out the project to the time schedule and the standard of the quality required. Next is controlling and monitoring the cash flow and the outflow of the project. And lastly is approve the material purchasing and ensure the material purchased by the procurement department meet and requirement in terms of the commercial, technical and delivery. After that, we'll follow by the project engineer. The job of the project engineer is establishing and maintaining supervisory and organization, ensuring quality of servicing and testing at all the workplace. Next is to ensuring all the document and drawing are in order for the project. Next, to coordinate work with the other workers. Next, also to conduct or attend the meeting with the PCEPE, consultant and subcontractor. And lastly, to prepare the service report and the method statement. Next, for the engineering lead and design. The job of the engineering lead and design is to collect the data for the vibration analysis. Next is perform engineering studies to meet requirement with PCEPE's specification in terms of design, natural frequency and others related to engineering process. And lastly, for engineering, perform the engineering calculation to ensure design capacities is equated for application. Next, we have the supervisor for the installation process. The job of the supervisor is to establishing and maintaining supervisory organization, assuring quality of the servicing and testing at the all workplace, and then to coordinate work with the other workers, and then responsibility for reporting any progress, issue and planning during all the phase of the project execution. Next is to ensure that all the level of the supervision are qualified and receive adequate and appropriate training their assigned responsibilities. And lastly, ensure all the construction activities are carried out according to the plan and schedule. And last, for the job of the material coordination, Procument is to ensure all the purchase material and service conform to the requirement. Then request the quotation from the vendor of the approved vendor. Next is prepare the purchase order, which specific detail of the material to be purchased. Next, report to the project manager on the material purchase intern in progress. And lastly, ensure all the documents related to be purchased material are available for the final documentation. So that's all from me for the presentation about the project organization for the shutdown. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and have a good day everyone. My name is Haziq bin Roslan from BVF 3214 Plant Commissioning and Shutdown. Will present about unit involved in this turnaround operation. There is 2 units involved in this section, which is blower and its base frame. Alright, firstly I will explain about one unit of Hibon SNH870 blower. This type of blower is a positive displacement blower that conveys gas or air from the upper inlet port into the stage using 2 parallel rotary pistons. These are mounted within a housing also called a conveying chamber. The piston rotate in opposite directions and facilitate gas or air conveyance from the top to the bottom. The function of blower in this project is as a conveying medium. It conveys the polyethylene powder from point A to point B. the powder is forced from the processing line into the processing tank or end user, and it need to be lifted up for further process inside the tank. The powder cannot be lifted effortlessly through gravity, so that it needs a blower to lift up the powder inside the tank for another process or to the end user. The blower is attached at another position besides the processing tank and linked by another pipeline to supply the pressurized air, and the blower cannot be placed directly with the product that it conveys because of it is not how it works. Alright, next we will talk about the maintenance task for this unit. First, we need to replace the old blower SN60 and collect the existing equipment installation data, which is that contractor shall perform the factory performance test with the condition as follow: the rotational speed 1500 rpm, and the acceptance criteria shall be the differential pressure within 5% deviation of 300 mbar and flow rate within 5% deviation of 5800 m³/hour, and discharge temperature within 10% deviation of 58 degrees Celsius, and motor power within 10% deviation of 60 kW, vibration below 8 mm per second, and taken using vibration data logger and no abnormalities in the spectrum, and the time waveform such as defect frequency, and the bearing temperature must be below 80 degrees Celsius, measuring at the casing surface, and the contractor should develop procedure of FAT, factory acceptance test, and submit the procedure to the owner for review and approval. Next, dismantle and remove the existing blower and anti-vibration pad and install the new SNH870 blower and anti-vibration pad. The new complete set of OptiBell Red Power SPC 3750 belt with its 400 mm 3-groove pulley also been installed. We need to evaluate the adequacy of the anti-vibration pad design against expected equipment assembly load. Then, perform a lifting, rigging, hookup and cable termination during installation, which is we shall supply competent manpower, tools, consumables, support services such as scaffolding and transportation such as lorry, crane and forklift for the installation work. After installation, machine alignment and balancing need to be done, and need to realign the blower and motor for reduce the vibration according to the manufacturer or owner tolerance, which is ISO 1217 or OEM manufacturer in-house standard. Lastly, the SAT site acceptance test should be agreed by both owner and contractor. Owner and contractor shall mutually agree on expected vibration spectrum and time waveform of the equipment while running during SAT. For example, presence of 1 XRS harmonics with low amplitude and not resonate low frequency. Then we will move to the base frame for blower. The significance of base frame is to maintain alignment of blower and motor assembly through a coupling arrangement in between. Any minor misalignment means increase in rate of failure of gland packing, mechanical seal, bearing, coupling and burning of motor due to overload. The function of the base frame is to hold the blower in its position. Due to high vibration caused by blower rotation, the base frame need to be designed according to the blower specification and size. It is to ensure the blower is securely held in its position. The base frame for the new blower needs to redesign and fabricate due to different type of blower is being used. The blower base design is different, so that modification onto old base frame is prohibited, and to ensure the vibration on the new blower can be reduced in the optimal scale. Then we will talk about the maintenance task for this unit. Firstly, evaluate the type material to be used on the base frame based on the equipment operating conditions and parameters, which is we shall evaluate the type of material to be used on the base frame based on the equipment operating conditions and parameters. Contractors shall perform positive material identification PMI on existing base frame unit at site to gather information of type of material used for the fabrication of the base frame. Then we shall provide any calculation or engineering support referring to relevant international standard and international best practice for the detailed design work during the engineering stage. Next, perform engineering calculation to ensure the design base frame capacity is adequate for SNH870 application. The weight of blower must scatter with the base frame support, which is 1001 kg or 1 tons. Then perform the engineering study to make sure base frame natural frequency is far away from any forcing frequency coming from the electrical motor and blower. Modal analysis of finite element analysis (FEA) or any type of analysis shall be performed by the contractor for this purpose. Then perform fabrication of base frame according to the new blower SNH870. Mark, cut and weld new base frame support for fabrication. Then shall perform the integrity check of the base frame through applicable non-destructive testing (NDT) method as stipulated in reference governing codes and standard. Upon completion of the base frame fabrication and inspection work by contractor shall compile or record reading and result and submit to owner for acceptance. Next, dismantle existing base frame. Lifting and rigging shall be performed by contractor during the dismantling process of existing base frame. And finally, installation of new base frame, bolt tightening of base frame according to the recommended torque during installation of new base frame and blower. Lifting and rigging process shall be performed on installation of the new base frame. SA or site acceptance should be agreed by both contractor and owner after the installation of the new base frame. And we shall perform a bump test or operational deflection shapes (ODS) during the commissioning and after that model analysis to visualize vibration pattern of the base frame as influenced by operating forces from the blower and motor. Natural frequency of the base frame shall not be excited by any of forcing frequency from equipment, and contractor shall perform this scope for the new base frame. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faris Adli bin Adnan. I will continue about the tasks involved for each stage of turnaround. Our company will start with the initiation phase. A well-executed plant turnaround does not have to cause substantial delay and disruption. The simple approach to carry out a plant turnaround is to plan ahead of time and have backup for all possibilities. Our company must have a letter of agency or other comparable document or evidence proving that he is the sole or exclusive local agent for the blower product. EJEF engineering must be completely capable of carrying out the engineering study, particularly on the base frame design with as a minimal modification to the existing equipment footprint as possible. EJEF engineering must also be able to undertake engineering, design and upgrading with the title existing paper as possible. EJEF engineering shall own all necessary and required equipment, tools, workshop and testing facilities for the project. For the planning phase, the project planning is an analytical method which examines, verifies and organizes relevant information regarding the task scope. Is used to design project. The following is an illustration of the procedure. Assume that we need to create a work order to repair a blower and base frame. The step entail the planner asking all pertinent questions instead of what blower need to be changed, what is the location of the blower, what is the procedure for replacing blower, who will take this position, and the last one is the base frame fabricate new or use an existing product. For the executing phase, EJEF engineering shall provide all equipment necessary for the performance of the work, including but not limited to machineries, tools, consumables, scaffolding, protection, testing and control instrument, and the last one, personal protection equipment for his labor. This is the list of equipment to be mobilized shall include but not limited of the following. The first one is lifting and transportation machineries. Second is power generation. The third is air compressor. Then testing and calibration equipment and facilities. Next, scaffolding and temporary support facilities, provision of transportation, and the last one, other equipment not listed above but necessary for safe and complete performance the work. For controlling phase, most turnaround teams will benefit from a scope challenge. Few people examine the whole preparation and planning time frame to maintain a scope control. The need of establishing a change management procedure for each project or area of concern is also recognized by the most team. Later in this post, we will go over each of these points in greater depth. The first one is, upon the base frame fabrication work completion, contractor shall perform the integrity check of the base frame through applicable NDT method as stipulated in reference governing code and standard. Next, upon completion of the base frame fabrication and inspection work by contractor, shall compile all records, readings and results and submit to the owner for acceptance. Shall provide a certificate of origin from supplier. Next, procedure to the owner for review and approval prior to the factory acceptance test. The last one is, shall develop the site acceptance test procedure based on owner stipulated requirement and acceptance criteria, and contractor shall submit the developed procedure to the owner for review and approval. Last but not least is closing phase. Upon final acceptance of works, it is essential that a ready reference on information via final documentation of all works complete and accepted and material and equipment installed be available to facilitate subsequent operation and maintenance. Final documentation, format and content will be established as per contract and agreement with the PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene. The information will be necessary for future planning of facilities expansion and modification. The final documentation shall be collectively consolidated, compiled, reviewed, and hand over to PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene to include but not limited to closeout report, working procedure or specific procedure, QA/QC documentation, spare part documentation, and the last one is test report. At the completion of the project, the contractor will issue its project closeout report. Generally, the item to be incorporated in the report should cover the following area project implementation, such as project site organization, engineering, procurement, expedition report, servicing report, final documentation, resolution and recommendation made on contractual issue, and the last one is final acceptance of work.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Idlan bin Izmi. My part is safety and risk shutdown for installation positive replacement blower at PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene plant. My part is to do the job hazard analysis worksheet. So the first thing of the activity is apply permit to work the activity. So the hazard is low because we focus on the ergonomics, and then the effect of the hazard is our leg being pain because we feel pain because we stand too long of the briefing. What the control measure that we need is stretching ourselves before work activity start. Second activity that we analyze is observe and inspect while the overall working site. So the hazard that we can see or analyze is the harm equipment, the equipment that block work activity such as a wire or heavy equipment, and then oil or chemical spill. Next, the noise from or heat on the every equipment. So the hazard are low, still low. So what the effect of this the hazard can be happen? It can cause the equipment damage, and then the injuries to individuals, also environmental pollution. So the control measure that we need is always using signage or tagging to equipment. Put tagging or signage, and then we must barricade the work site. The fire extinguisher and first aid kit always be prepared. The lockout and take out procedure must be done. So the third activity is prepare the equipment and tools for worker. Sometimes the worker are not using the appropriate equipment, but sometimes also the equipment from them are broken, and then PPE or personal protective equipment from them also broken. So the hazard that we see, the hazard risks are low, and then the effect that can be happen, equipment from them can be damaged, and also it can be injuries to individual workers or group or team, or from their team. Is equipment can fail on their head, fell on feet, or something else. The hazard can be happen on the above side. So the control measure is make sure all the equipment are being and tools are being inspected. The tool also must be tagged and refer the permit to work and other regulation. Always we must ensure the always wear the proper attire, personal protective equipment. Next, the next activity is dismantle the blower and anti-vibration pad from existing Baseframe. So the hazard that can be analyzed is susceptible to electric shock while they are lifting the blower, and then the workers also can be sleeping while dismantle the bolt, and worker head slam through other equipment nearby. Sometimes the worker also can unexpected inhale the other chemical that nearby. So what the effect that can happen, it can happen to individual injuries such as fatal injuries. It is serious because the hazard for dismantle the oil blower are very high risk. It can be unconscious worker because while they are inhale other chemical and unexpected. So the control measure that we need is always wear the proper attire, personal protective equipment. They must be safety briefing for the dismantle procedure, dismantle the oil blower procedure, and then during the work, safety officer must always alert for any potential hazard and always communicate with their team. Next, the activity is lifting the oil blower from the existing base frame. So the hazard that can be analyzed is height lifting the oil blower. Sometimes workers can easily sleeping on greasy, wet or dirty surface from the roadside. Poorly stacked item or misplaced item material. Sometimes worker can step on it. And then the broken chain and hook on the lifting equipment. Also the hazard that we focus. And then the jack or crane, the below weight than the oil blower. It's also we focus on the hazard. So the effect or the hazard is it can be to injuries to individual or groups. The jack broken while lifting, and then the blower can fail on feet, and then the oil blower can be more damaged. So what the control measure that we need for this activity is wear the proper attire, personal protective equipment. Always follow all the standard operation procedure during the lifting operation, and all the workers must alert about the potential hazard and always communicate with their teams. The workers must use proper equipment that relate to the operation. All equipment must be inspect and put tag and signage before lifting operation. So the sixth activity is dismantle the existing base frame. So as we see, it low hazard risk, and the hazard is dust and debris. Sometimes workers can be tripped on base frame. They easily can be tripped on base frame, and also sometimes loose bolt and nut from base frame can easily the workers can step on it. So the effect that can happen is injury on individually. So the control measure that we need for this activity is the worker must wear proper entire personal protective equipment, use the right equipment to dismantle, and all workers must alert on the potential hazard. Seventh activity is fabricated and installation of new base frame. For new base frame, the hazard that we can analyze is based on base frame surface. Sometimes has crack on it, and then finger stuck while work, the amputated finger, the cut and weld spark, and the hazard risk we can see it. We can analyze is medium. So what the effect can be done for this hazard is the first is environmentally damage on the work site. Next, the individually injuries such as the workers can get a skin burn, and then their skin will get pain. Also there can be the eye damage, and also there can be loose their other body part. So the control measure that we mentioned is always wear a proper attire, personal protective equipment, always alert the protection hazard, and all the workers must use the right equipment for the installation process. So next, the aim of the activity is lifting new blower to new base frame. So as I mentioned before, for lifting the old blower, it also same medium hazard risk. It also same the hazard, which is height lifting the new blower. Workers also can easily slipping on greasy, wet or dirty surface on the work site. The broken and chain or chain can be hazard from the lifting equipment. And then we focus on the jack or crane that below weight than the old blower. So the effect also same. It can be injuries to individual or group. The jack broken while lifting, the blower can fall on the worker's feet, and the new blower can be more damaged before the install. So the control measure that we need is the workers must wear the proper attire, personal protective equipment all the time, and the workers also must follow all the standard operation procedure during the lifting procedure. And then the workers must use proper equipment that related the operation. The equipment, all the equipment that relate must being inspect and put tagging. Also put signage before lifting operation can start. And then the installation new blower on new base frame is also the medium hazard risk, which is the hazard lifting the new blower. Sleep, the workers can sleep while installation, and then sometimes we expected the workers can be stumbled with other equipment, and then the ergonomic always we focus while the installation new blower. So the effect can be happen on this hazard is individually injuries such as the workers' back pain, their head wounds. So the control measure that we need on this hazard analysis is all workers always wear proper attire, personal protective equipment, use the proper equipment to install, and then all the workers must alert about the potential hazard, and then all the workers must follow the standard operation procedure during the installation process. So if there are emergency injuries, the workers must report to safety officer. Last activity is the housekeeping. So the housekeeping also can be hazard, but it can be but it low hazard risk because the hazard slip while sweep floor because the dust from cutting and wheel spark from the installation or fabricated or upper procedure. And then the workers also can stumble with other activity, other equipment, and then we focus on ergonomic, and what we expected is that any object can fall from above while they're clean for the housekeeping. So the effect is individually injuries such as back pain, head wound, and then their coverall can be ripped with harm equipment, and the other body part can get worn. So the control measure is alert on possibility hazard. All the workers must alert on the possibility hazard, and they must use proper attire, personal protective equipment until the work being done. And then last is we must and we need to ensure the arrangement about the equipment should be perfectly tidy.
Upon completion of execution of all the activities at PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene, our company successfully replaced and installed the new blower and its accessories. Implementing the new blower and its accessories will improve the performance during the process, thus increasing the rate of production of the chemical products. For each phases of the project, we assure our teams to accomplish the PETRONAS Chemicals Ethylene Polyethylene's objectives, and also ensure that regulatory requirements are implemented and all works are being applied according to the international standards.